Hi everyone, in this tutorial I'll be showing you how I've made this piece of art using Glasscast epoxy resin. So to start this tutorial with, I will say this is probably the most easy tutorial I have on my YouTube channel. Why is it so easy? Because first of all, you don't need a lot of materials. You just need the resin, some mixing sticks, cups, and some tinting pigments just to create the colors in your artwork. So the mixing ratios are 2:1 by weight. So if you're making, for example, 500 grams, you just add 250 grams of B. Keep in mind, it's very important to keep those ratios how they should be, because it's not like using polyester resin when you want to say like, I want to have it cure in 2 hours, I'll just add more hardener. No, this will not work. It's a chemical reaction creating between the two resins that will make it to go hard. So it's very important to do that. So an important thing I'm showing you here is these resins have to be mixed very accurately and properly. So I'm using the 2-cup system where I just mix into 1 cup and just pour it over back into the first cup. So just to make sure I have no unmixed resins on the sides of the cups or the bottom of the cup. So this is the base plate I'll be using. You could do this on countertops. You can make penny floors and so on with this resin. But here I'm just creating a tabletop. But it could be an artwork to put on the wall as well, or a clock. Doesn't matter what you want to do with it. So the first thing I'm doing here is I'm just applying some fresh resin. So it's unmixed with tinting pigments or other metallic powders into it at this stage. So it's poured onto a baseboard that is from wood, and then I just seal it with acrylic paints. So it's the black paint you see on top. And then I just pour it on before mixing the colors. So how does it work? You just have your transparent resin, and then you just add pigments and colors. And that way you get the colors you can mix onto your art piece. Why did I do the first pour first? It's just because it will now level in the time that I'm mixing all the tinting pigments. So I'm using translucent pigments. You can buy them on Easy Composites as well. They now just added neon colors as well, and they also have the Pearl X to create those metallic effects that I'm using a bit later on. But and that was a fail, so caption down below in the comments how you would caption this fail, and I can think of many things to come in the comments below. So here I'm just tinting it with blue. I have green. This is how I will solve it, because I have way too much tinting resin in it. So I just pouring a bit more into another cup, and I just have to sacrifice a color. So that's how I did it here, because I wanted to add some more colors. But this is how I solved it, just to keep the green that I wanted to have. So the next thing I'm doing here is I have a friend selling metallic powders, so I got some samples from him, and they work very, very good with these type of art pieces, because it's very thin metallic flakes that will float on top of the resin, so creating those gold lines you have into the art piece later on. I'm also using some white, so it's an opaque color, so it's a paste you add to it, and the color won't be translucent. So I'm using that for the white. Because I want to have the contrast between white and the black that is already on the wooden base board that I already had. So here I'm just showing the colors, so they are translucent. Here's the metallic, and that's the metallic green, and that's the white. So first things first, I'm just taking some paper instead in the case that something goes wrong. But then it's very easy, because I don't think you can do something wrong, because it's just the way you want to create pieces. So it's your art piece, so you can choose yourself how you want to do it. But one tip I would give is that I've used way too much green on one side. Just let me know in the comments below if you like it that way or not. I would have loved to have a bit more black in contrast with that green. But that's just how it is. I'm happy with the results. And so here I'm just adding some translucent color, so the epoxy, on top of the white, just to create like a little bit of fade in between the white and the blue. But you can choose like many colors. You can go like purple, pink, blue, and so on. It's just your creativity that you have to put into the piece. So here's a trick. I wouldn't really call this a trick, but here's how I did it to create a bit more organic shapes and just to get the resin around. It's just using the mixing stick and like drag some lines or some nerves, like you call it, into the art piece all the way through the part. And then it's just like you want to create like an organic shape. So you just like go around with your fingers. You just try to find a good like thing you have in mind to create with it. But keep in mind, it's very difficult to create like the perfect thing you have in mind, but you have to have like a basic idea of what you're going for, and then you can just mess around with the resin and just try to get the thing you want. And when you're happy, you can just put it aside. You can also, like what I'm doing here, is tilting one edge just to get it to flow over the edge, because this is important to get it over the edge to create like a one piece piece of art. So I'm just pouring it around a bit just to get it to the edges. So how about the resin consumption? So just so you have an idea in mind, I'm using here, I think it was 750 grams, but the general rule is 1 kilogram for 1 square meter on 1 millimeter of thickness. But keep in mind that you will lose some resin flowing over the top. So you could also use this resin to make like the penny floors, countertops. You can do some bottle cap tables and so on. And you just have to keep in mind that 1 millimeter on 1 square meter is 1 kilogram. But if you're working on porous materials like concrete, you will need a bit more just to compensate with the fact that the surface is taking some resin. So here's how it is. I just blow it with a torch just to get all the bubbles out. But the cool thing about this resin is that it's self-leveling. It's like you don't need polishing, clear coats on top. Keep in mind the resin is only like stable till 45 degrees. So don't put hot cups or pans on top of the part, because it will melt or make some marks into the table that I made here. So this will be an outside table just to have some fresh drinks during this hot summer we have in Belgium. But this is the final result. So this is the part cured. It's glass clear and perfect result. So I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share this video with some friends. If you have some more questions, comment down below and I'll be happy to answer your questions. Thanks for watching.